Wow. Wow. What a shameful way to end the season if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, man. You go out here in an elimination game at home and in a game where Anthony Edwards didn't do a damn thing, uh Jaden McDaniels didn't do a damn thing, fouled out in 18 minutes. The bench, Nas Reed didn't do a damn thing. Dante DiVincenzo didn't do a damn thing. Nikhil Alexander Walker didn't do a damn thing, and you went out there and you still managed to lose this game based off of the back of a Rudy Gobert 2020 game. Mind you, Rudy Gobert wasn't even averaging 5 points per game in the series for the first 4 games of this series heading up into tonight. And then you let him go out there in an elimination game at your crib and give you 27 points and 24 rebounds. It's embarrassing. It's shameful. It's sad to see, man. Luka Doncic, you didn't have a terrible game, 7 for 18, but dog, 2 for 8 from three. You had almost half of your points come from the free throw line. And when you're not shooting the ball efficiently on offense, especially from beyond the arc, and then you're also the worst defender on the court, maybe in the NBA, it looks bad for you, man. And you didn't have a terrible series offensively. This game was inefficient, and then you had another bad game that was inefficient, game three, where you were sick. But then you had two 40-point performances in game two, y'all won, so whatever. And you had a 40-point performance in game one and in game four, so you didn't have a terrible performance offensively. But dog, it was just. And you're not the only problem defensively on the Lakers. I firmly believe that you need a rim protector. You need a rim protector behind Luka Doncic. You need some better point of attack defenders. Like DFS just wasn't the point of attack defender that you want him to be. And Jared Vanderbilt, while he is a good point of attack defender, he's so bad offensively that he can't play real minutes. So it's just tough. And in this game, DFS, while he is probably the best point of attack, the best two-way player you've got, unless you want to call that LeBron, he fouled out. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't giving you much, and he also wasn't shooting the ball like great. Like, he shot 50%, but he wasn't the most aggressive, wasn't getting, you know what I'm saying, too many shots up any night, didn't have a good series, didn't have the series. You're not trading a first round pick for what DFS gave you in this series. Just put it like that. I think y'all traded a first round pick for him. I think. And if you did, you aren't trading a first round pick for a guy that's going to go 1 for 3 from three and foul out and just not have a great series. And yeah, it's just ugly. It was really, really ugly, man. And the Wolves offense, even though your defense isn't great, the Wolves offense was struggling tonight, and it was because their guys weren't scoring the ball well outside of Julius Randle and outside of Rudy Gobert. And Rudy Gobert was the best player on the floor tonight. Please don't get it wrong. But the Wolves couldn't buy a three. But the problem is you couldn't either. Like, you weren't much better from three. And then the other problem is you can't get rebounds. You couldn't get a defensive. This game ended in the most poetic way possible because after Julius Randle misses a free throw, Nas Reed gets the offensive rebound. Even though the game is over, y'all still couldn't get a rebound. It just ended in the most poetic way possible. Offensive boards. You let the Timberwolves get 18 offensive boards to your 8. They had almost as many offensive boards as you did defensive boards. You had 29 defensive boards. They had 18 offensive boards and 36 defensive boards. Bro, it's like while you're holding them or while their offense is having a terrible night, you've got to capitalize on this. These are the type of games that you cannot lose. When Rui Hachimura is coming out here and for the second straight night having a phenomenal game, he was your second leading scorer tonight. You cannot come out here and lose that game, especially after you just did the same thing the night before or the game before. You cannot fumble away Rui Hachimura 20-point performances on efficient shooting in the playoffs in back-to-back nights and expect to win. You can't. You can't do it. And it's just shameful, man. The Lakers, dude. I don't know where you go from here. You have a lot that you need to do because, like, Ant had his worst game of the. I don't even need to talk about it, bro. We already talked about that. Really, the question here is LeBron going to retire? I don't think he is because I think this team, while they do have some flaws, I think they're. And I don't really want to sound too hypocritical with this, but I do think they are a few realistic moves. Now, they have to be good and calculated move, but I do believe that the Lakers are a few realistic moves away from this team being the team that you want it to be. Let them go out there and get a big man in this summer, and I don't know who that's going to be. I don't think they go for Domantas Sabonis, so I'm not sure. It's not going to be Vucevic, I don't think so. I don't know who they go for. Maybe they go for Nick Claxton from Brooklyn. Maybe they try to get Nick Claxton and Cam Johnson. I don't know what they do. But let them go out there, get a couple more pieces, and I think LeBron and you, or if LeBron can convince himself, or you can convince LeBron that this team is significantly better come start of next year if they are able to make some moves than they are right now. So I don't think LeBron is going to retire, but at the same time, man, he played with his son. You gave him Luka Doncic. He tried his best to do all that. He's 40 years old. He's broken every record. I wouldn't be shocked if he did. Now, I don't think he's going to, but I wouldn't be shocked if he did at all. Lakers, terrible way to end the season. Absolutely embarrassing way to end the season. I mean, a Rudy Gobert 2020 game is how you end your season? Rudy Gobert literally was averaging like 3 or 4 points per game in the first 4 games of the series and single-digit rebounds. And you went out there and let the man get a 2020 game. Warriors at Rockets. I don't have too much to say about this. All of my notes that I have written down are from the first quarter. I don't have much to say about this. From jump, you could tell it was the Rockets game, and I watched the entire first half with some hope that the Warriors would come back, and I even watched like the first half of the third quarter with just seeing if the Warriors could do something. They didn't. It was just a bad game. The Rockets were shooting 70% from the field in the first half and like 50 or 60% from three in the first half. The Rockets will never play as well offensively as they played tonight again. The Warriors are going to go home, and they're going to close this series out on Friday. They're going to close this series out on Friday in Golden State. Steph Curry's going to hoop. Jimmy Butler's not going to go 1 for 8 or whatever the hell he was. Steph Curry's going to have a much better game. You're just going to have a much better game. You're not going to let Tari Eason hoop. You're not going to let let me just look. Jalen Green still didn't have a good game. Hope he's okay from that injury and everything like that, because when I watched, he did get injured, but he came back. I don't know if he got re-injured, because I do see that he only played 18 minutes. But maybe that was more of like or he played 28 minutes. I was thinking about Buddy Hield that played, or Draymond and Buddy Hield played 18 minutes. Wow. But yeah, you're just not going to get as bad of a game as you did from the Warriors again, and you're not going to get as good of a game as you did from the Rockets again. Like Aaron Holiday came in and had 9 points. Tari Eason had 9 points, and I think all of them hoes might have been in the first half the way he was playing in the first half. Alperen Sengun 6 for 9. That's not going to happen again. Dylan Brooks 7 for 13. That's not going to happen again. Amin Thompson 8 for 12. I doubt it. Fred VanVleet has had his 2 best games of the series on back-to-back nights. In Game 6, he might give you 3 points. I'm not worried about the Warriors at all. It was an embarrassing night. It was a terrible night for them. But the storyline here is not the Warriors who are still up 3-2 and just had a bad night. The storyline here is the Lakers lose in 5 to the 6th seed with LeBron and Luka. Man. LeBron, I hope you're okay. That play at the end where you kind of ran into DiVincenzo, I think you're fine because you came back in the game, but I hope you're doing all right. Luka with the back injury, heal up. Hope you do all right. Well, luckily for y'all, you get to rest because you don't have another game for the next 6 months. So, embarrassing, dude. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching. Shorter video tonight because there wasn't a lot to talk about. It was 2 bad games of hoops. Don't have that much to talk. Well, the Lakers game wasn't bad. It was just bad hoops. Like, it wasn't a bad game. I think it was just bad hoops. But yeah, just an interesting night of hoops, but also not an interesting night of hoops in the sense of like it was worth talking about, because it wasn't worth talking about. All right, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. All glory to God. Thank you for watching. And yeah, let's see what we got tomorrow. All right, okay.